Hello, this is Vienmar Ogramen, your instructor. It is now time for us to learn on how to send and handle requests to the server. Of course, using CodeIgniter. In this tutorial, we will create forms and I will demonstrate on how we can handle the data that is being passed to the server using the form. Okay, let us begin. But before we start, I will have to do something first. I will have to edit the header part. And I will delete this snippet and change this to register. With that, let us check if it is working, if our menu is still working. Now we have a register. Then I will create another controller and I will duplicate the home controller. I will name it as users controller, and of course I need to edit the class to users. And for now, we do not need the users index page yet. So I will change this to register. And I will change the page title to registration page. Next is to create another views that is dedicated only for registration. Registration page underscore view. Let me delete this paragraph tag. And close the other tabs. And now only the users and the registration page view is available. Now let us go back to the browser and let us test if the user's register is working. And now since it is confirmed that the user registration page is working, now we have to change the view of this controller method to this page view. Registration page view, and let us check if it is working. And now we know that this is working. Let us just delete this string. Refresh registration page, and let me also delete this registration page. Now we have a blank page for our registration page. Next that we are going to do is to create a form for registration. I'll just create a short form for our registration form. Let us set the action to users registration validation. So I will create a PHP tag here Then echo the base URL. Insert the user's controller, and then insert the method, which will be register underscore validation, where we submit the data for us to handle it properly and for our code not to be bloated. So what we'll do is create that method, and let us check on the page if we have created that form, and also check the action. Now, as you can see, we have here the controller and the new method, register validation. Next, we will create our inputs. We have our first input. We will create a label. First, we need to name this as name and create a label for that name. And we will set the ID to name. You might use this ID later. Okay, next is set the label to name. Let's check. Now we have here the name. Then we will have to add another input. Let's say the address. Then the username, and the password. And of course, we need to add another password field for confirmation. I will name it as confirm password. Then the name for this will be C password. And of course, the type should be password. Password. Let us check if it is working. Check the password. It's working. Okay. Name, address, username, and the password. Next, we will have to add the button. Below. Let's delete this. Input, ID name. Let's set the type as submit. let's set the value to register, and let us add a class. And let us add bootstrap classes. Let us check. Okay, I have edited the button or the input and changed it to button and added BR. I don't know what is happening here, but I just added BR for the confirm password and the button to be separated. So for now, let it be. And now if we check that it is working, then next we need to update the header and set the URL of the link. So since the controller is the users, we need to set this as to users and register. Now let's check if this is working. The link is working. Now let's check if the link is working. Let's go to the About page, click Register, Home, About, Register, and now we have a registration page. Next is, how do we handle the data that is being passed to the server, which will be passed to this controller end method, which will be this one in here. Now let us try to click this. As you can see, we are passing this to users register validation, and the method that we are using right now is the get method. Now let me change that and change it to post method, and let's go back to the registration page and let us refresh the page. Oh, something went wrong. Let me check. Oh, we need to delete this. Let's go back. Okay, then let us view the source. Now we have the method as post and the action the same to the user's registration. Then let us test. And now this is a post method because there is no get parameter in the URL. Now let us try to check the data that is being passed to the server. In CodeIgniter, there is a helper that we can use for us to get the data from a particular HTTP request. For example, in this example, we are using the post method to get the data. Let us create first a variable. Let's say post data is equal to. This is different from the native PHP coding because CodeIgniter also have its way on how we can retrieve post data, and it goes like this. This input post. Take a look at this post if we want to get the post data, but if we want to get the get data, we just need to change this to get. But since our method in this example is post, we need to stick to the post method. Then we have to set the parameter. The first parameter is the name of the input. But for now, let us just get the whole post. So we need to set this to null. And next is for the security. If you want the data that you're getting from the client to be secured, we need to set this to true. If the client is sending malicious data or malicious code to your server, this will sanitize that to make sure that the data that we are getting is secure. Now, next, we need to check the data inside the post. And what we have to do is just print R, use print R, and let us check what's inside the print R. Let's go back, refresh, and let us input dummy data in here. Click register. And now this is what is inside of the post data variable. Now we know how we can get the data from the post. As you can see, this is the name input, and this is the input for that. And this is the value for the address. This is the value. Username, this is the value. Password and confirm password. Let us try to have a different value in each input. It's checked. Now we have name, address, and so on. And now I think we got everything that we need for this session. Stay tuned for our next tutorial. Thank you.